Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA. I'm joined today by three other lovely folks, but before we get to them, I want to tell you guys just a quick little tidbit about TechWeld USA, because that's who we're brought to you today by. Look, made in a world filled with worry still, okay, regarding overseas products, and they offer many USA-made products to help separate themselves from the promotional products pack. Hand sanitizers is still very much a very much sought-after product, and so due to the coronavirus outbreak, this is something that's trending worldwide. The CDC recommends sanitizer and washing your hands to help prevent the spread of the disease, and they have many sanitizer SKUs that can help combat the spread of the virus. They've also got a lot of FDA-compliant products. And, in a time of uncertainty, knowledge that a product is FDA-compliant is key in allowing their customers to feel at ease when placing an order. So listen, you guys should definitely go to techweld.com after this broadcast and check them out, and definitely place some orders with TechWeld. Good people over there. So, like I said, brought to you today with three other lovely folks. And why don't we say hi to Stephen McFadden with Perfect Promotions and More. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Hope you are as well.
Yeah, man, I'm doing all right. A little bummed about the.
No one asked Jeff, so I figured, might as well turn it back.
And then you interrupted him when he answered, so that was perfect.
Yeah, it's great. Jeff, how are you doing today?
Also part.
And Meg, how are you?
No, a little bit bummed about the Super Bowl results, but hey, congrats to Dale Denham. I guess. Meg Erber with S&S Activewear, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful today. I am excited about tomorrow. We have a virtual trade show experience thing going on tomorrow, so I'm super excited. A little nervous, but it's just the pre-show.
The pre-show jitters.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So listen, if we did an awesome episode last week with Mark Batuli, the vice president of marketing at S&S Activewear, and so if you didn't listen to that broadcast, you should definitely go check that episode out, and then go join the event tomorrow and go see Meg for the love of God. We're also joined today by the OG of social in the. Dana Zezzo, the man, the myth, the legend. If you don't know Dana, I don't know what you've been doing, but Dana, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I want to make sure I can be on this podcast today. Hold on. Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet. Glad to see that.
Okay.
So, Dana, I really appreciate you being on. Just so that everybody knows, the topic for today, we're going to talk about social events in a virtual world. I know that we've talked the virtual trade show aspect before, but we want to talk about the piece that, in my opinion, we're still really missing out on a lot, and that's the socials and the networking events and things like that we can't really do or haven't really been able to do traditionally without being in person. So I know, Dana, with your current role and the stuff that you've been doing with American Solutions for Business, you've been able to do a lot of events over the last year or so, and so I want to talk to you about that. But before we dive into the topic, why don't you take 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself to anybody that doesn't know who Dana Zezzo is, and just give us the rundown. How'd you get started?
I appreciate it
and all that good stuff.
Thanks for having me. Well, following the bigwig at S&S, that's a tough one, right? Thanks for having me. My name is Dana. I've been in the industry for quite a while, 20 plus years. I've been an early adopter to technology in general. I don't consider myself a techie guy. I still have my teenage kids help me turn on my computer at times. So, but I do try to stay, forward thinking, and because I see that the technology is driving change, and you have to be on the front side of that. I've always been involved in marketing. I've always been in a sales role on my vendor side previous to being a distributor at American. And to be a more efficient salesperson, you had to embrace technology. I mean, what's scary is I have to admit, I remember doing road calls, like covering a territory before cell phones. And you even imagine stopping at a payphone and, can you imagine the germs on a payphone? Oh gosh, I can't even fathom it now. But so that supplier experience, in sales and marketing, and being a VP of sales at vendors kind of brings you into event planning in a way. And all that has landed me today as a VP of marketing, vendor relations, and events at American, number 12, I think, on the list this year for distributor sizes. So it's a big group. And when we put on events, you don't just have an idea and then email everybody and tell them you're going to do it. You've got to think it through every way and sideways. We have a very diverse demographic, so we got to be conscious of that whenever we do an event. So that's where I am today, and hoping I can share a few insights to the ups and downs of virtual events and how do you make them social.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I remember when I first met you, it wasn't very long after I got started in the industry. That's why I say if people don't know you, I don't know what you're doing, because you were one of the first people that I met, actually. But you were with Jetline, and I just remember all the stuff that you used to post online, man. I actually was a little bit enamored in the, I guess the focus and direction that you always sort of had towards that, and just making it a point to do it. So there's no reason you're, or I guess that is the reason why you've been on Dale Denham's online 18 list, right, Meg?
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking to Dana, but yeah.
I'm saying, so you guys are
we're OGs together. Dana and I, funny enough, didn't know each other at first either. And then I was at a Pittsburgh show, and I look over, and there he was. And so I walked over after the show, and I was like, "Can we get our picture taken together?" I'm gonna have to post this picture later. And those of you who know me know that I'm like almost 6 foot. And Dana's like almost 5 foot.
And there it is.
There it is. Actually, Tim Hill has a worse picture of me and one of my coworkers, but I actually was like bending down. I was like, and he was like, "Why are you bending down?" But ever since then, we've been friends, and we got to work together at Jetline, and now we are, here we are. So super excited to have him on today.
Yeah, Meg really blazed the trail for the social, the front side of the social following that Jetline had. And then when I joined Jetline, she had carved out a heck of a path already. So we kind of worked together to take it to the next level. So 100%. Yeah, we post a lot.
Well, listen, Meg, I don't know when you want me to I guess broadcast this this little thing that we put together as an industry insider group. I don't know. Should we do it now and then let Dana critique us and tell us what we did wrong? And
so I want to touch base on something that he had said first. You don't just send out an email and say we're doing that. So that's
literally what we did.
We actually decided after the show ended last week, we're like, let's do something crazy. And I'm like, we're just like shouted out things, and then over the weekend, we just decided to do it. And then we sent it all to Brandon, and he mashed it together. And the result obviously is what Jeff is about to share with us. So
is this like a how not to?
Yes, this is
okay.
How not to do. And by the way, I know I was told I run like a gazelle, but I was afraid to slip down the driveway. Okay.
Gazelle.
So, yeah. There's a reason.
Like Giselle? Is that what you said?
No, a gazelle. Okay. So listen, the first clip's pretty funny because I'm not present.
That was funny. There was a lot funny about that, actually.
I was just gonna, do this, but I left it alone. But
I even made bibs for everybody, and they didn't even wear the bibs.
I wanted to, but then I was like, you know what? And now I know why Meg was skipping around like a gazelle, because I probably would have slipped and fell on my ass. It's pretty icy out here, but yeah. Why don't we launch it, and then we can let Dana critique us.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Wait, is it showing?
Is the audio coming?
The audio is. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can
definitely see it.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Meg's back already.
Meg's back.
The fastest 5K.
15 seconds. There you go.
Love that bib.
Look, here we were all going to do axe throwing, because I know that's been like a hot topic of, the networking stuff. And I was just like, nah, forget the axe. I'm just going to go to the gun range.
All right, we got the charcuterie board going. That's awesome.
He was the only one that did it. I decided to make drinks.
And this is what happens when you give a 2-year-old the camera.
We got pizza tossing.
Steven just gives the thumbs up and bows out.
I almost got caught in Walmart throwing the axe. I didn't actually throw it in Walmart.
The story would have been better if you had.
Yeah.
Maybe I did.
Meg, I like your take on the drink. You know,
Yeah,
Make it smart.
You know that other
Smart
stuff.
in the coffee cup. Oh, heck with the mix.
Drink
Just
it.
drink it.
There was so many instructions. I was like, drink.
I mean, Meg, you hit on that drink kit, the drink kits have really been one of the top, trending products for adding some element to a virtual event. I've even seen people like where they have a bartender go live and make the event, the drinks in front of the people, because there's a variety of them and they make all of them, and whichever one you got, you get to make. And that was a super trending product this year for virtual events.
Yeah, I agree. So at LDW, which we did virtually this year, they had Bill Petrie do a bartender segment for happy hour, and so everybody got to make they got the recipes ahead of time and could make the drinks alongside with him if they wanted to, or they could just watch Bill do it. And then CPPA also did a similar thing for the holiday show or holiday dinner or get together that we normally do. We did it virtually, and we had Bob Titleman do the bartender stuff there, and it's always worked out really well. Those kits are pretty expensive though. I don't know if it's just a retail thing or
they are. You are correct. They're like 22, 24, $25. You're right. They're expensive.
And I wasted 2 sets of the
as long as you drank it, you didn't waste it.
I didn't drink it.
Did you waste 2 or did you just make a double?
Well, I did the first one and it was really bad. And then I did this. I tried to pour my coffee mixture of liquor back in, and it went everywhere. So then I smelled like Maker's Mark. And I just said, fuck it, and did the other one. And I was like, but I can't drink that stuff. It's been sitting here for like 6 months. I'm like,
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I see. Well, I think the intro there, you guys, you did a play a little bit on the concept of 5K, and you could really, that's something we could talk about. How do you take the 5K is such a social event as a fundraiser, and to duplicate it virtually is interesting. But outside of promo, there is an explosion. If you just get out on Google and use it for the right things, the run industry and the event industry has had to shift. And so we kept a close eye on that shift to see if they could keep up with the technology, because that was a challenge. You got to, the registration process has to flow, because you're not walking up to a table and saying your name and they hand you the runner bag or whatever. So that's where the thought goes into it, is like, what is the realistic number that we would get? How are we going to handle registration? When you get registration, how are you going to pick your product? When you pick your product, what's the reason behind the product? Is it truly a kind of a case study in itself? And that's what we try to do. When we create an event, we try to create the swag or the merch. I know Bill doesn't like the word swag. I love the word swag, but merch is okay too. When you're creating that event bag, that merch bag, that swag bag, that thing really should be a case study. That if in theory, you should literally be able to take that and hand it to an event coordinator and go, here you go, it's done. It's easy. Do the same thing. And so we think about that and what that means about the metal and all that stuff. We end up actually going with a quick little tip. We ended up going with a EMT PVC metal versus an actually die cast metal. One, cost, it's way cheaper. So when you're trying to do a virtual event, you don't know how much, and you're starting to buy product and you don't know how much it's going to cost, and you don't know how many people runners you're going to get, and are you going to be upside down? And also just in the fact of shipping it. We knew we were going to have to ship them in envelopes to the participants, and we didn't want that metal kind of banging back and forth and damaging everything else, or potentially, coming out of the thing. So we went with the PVC. So that was a cool little tip. Nobody complained. Still looks like a metal. Still was on a lanyard. Basically we made sure we had the right software. We ended up going with a Reg Fox as the platform we used on that. We've used probably about 5 or 6 different platforms so far at American. My team, how I helped them get through it was, guys, it's going to be hard and we don't know how long it's going to last. So here's my thought. Instead of just narrowing in on one virtual platform, why don't we try them all or as many as we can for different events. And then if we end up in a virtual world for 2021, we can pick and choose the ones we like. So that means, we're going to have some ups and downs and some hard knocks on the front side, but it's going to pay off if this thing goes further. So that's what we did. All of our events were on different platforms on purpose. It drove our distributor partners nuts because they had different, they were always going, they couldn't get like familiar with it.
Right.
So, and we apologized, but we told them why. And yeah, I mean, it just, you got to think it through, and all the way through what level of follow up. And then how are you going to bring the community together once you announce event, and obviously social media is the best. And basically we created a space on Facebook, which is really the best place to get that engagement. So we started, as we would secure the registration, we would post it and then obviously it's easy to share. We would have content about the product and get all kinds of engagement, and obviously give exposure to the vendors for support. And that's what you're thinking through, how are you helping the participants engage in the event that they're not physically going to be at along the way. And then how are you going to have it, when you're going to have it, what's that look like? And then what's the post? So pre and post is a lot of thought.
What about all the merch that goes into it? Like, I mean, I know we talked about that, but how much does that take up? Like, because you want to have merch, you want to generate the excitement. And so I'm assuming you have like the t-shirt giveaway still, or the sweatshirt, or
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we sat down, I have a person on my team, her name is Taylor. She's kind of becoming an industry rock star.
Yeah, we had her. We had her on the podcast.
I'm not saying becoming, she is.
Yeah.
She's really, she really is my lead merchandiser too. I mean, she does a million other amazing things, but the one skill set she has is merching out products. So we let her take the lead for every event we have, physical or virtual, and she starts mapping it out, and she's amazing. And ultimately, I'll be honest with you, and this could be a tip, we actually shied away from the t-shirt on this one, just because we didn't want to deal with the sizing.
Yeah, I know.
The fulfillment. I mean, that's a challenge, right? When obviously you have a physical event, you go up and you can, if you didn't already tell them your shirt size, there's enough on the table, you just yell out large, we didn't want to really deal with that. We had to move pretty fast, our timelines. So we packed out a swag bag that was obviously appropriate. We called it the 19K. And obviously, so COVID-19, and all the product was then kind of COVID related. So our piece was a custom neck gaiter, which we felt was very appropriate. So that's something to think about too. If you're theming your event anyway, make sure your merch is taking your theme to another level. So all our merch, not there, and there was a custom mask in there, and it was very COVID like friendly box, and that kind of helped the event be successful. Because it made sense. So yeah, but the one thing that we did do is also is be conscious. I think in business they say learn self-awareness. I'd say my career I've had ups and downs with that. I think we all do. But the one thing we were self-aware of is the state of the industry. So one thing I'm very proud of my team, when we worked on the virtual 19K, which was kind of a take on a 5K, was that we were hearing that our vendor partners were down 50%, 60%, 70%. And it's like, we still had to move forward as a distributor. I mean, we still had to create community, because that's what distributors really embrace, their inner circle as a family. And how are we going to do that? Because years past, the vendors just like, literally are so good about supporting that. And we're like, you know what? We're gonna make a statement to our vendors, which I'm very proud of my team for doing, and it speaks to our American culture, which not everybody can do. I get it, but it's what we did. We bought every item that went in our bag. There was one vendor who did step up kind of towards the end and had I think like a silicone bracelet, and they just sent a box of them, and we put them in. But we made an effort to buy every piece of swag, so our event cost. Covered, you had to do them, really work to your business plan. We had to cover all the costs. If the vendor gave us a discount, so be it. Some did, some didn't. There's different deals out there, and we didn't overly ask. And then we just took that cost, and then we put on a different thing an addition to it. I don't remember what the number was. And then we added a donation button to our registration, which again, if you're doing something, ours was partnered with the CDC. And at the end of it, we had 260 people participate in a virtual 19K. They were engaged. They were home office people. They were sales associates, support people to sales associates. They were vendors. And the magical thing is there ended up being end users, which was pretty cool. And we basically gave the CDC Foundation, who's fighting a cure for COVID, $3,000. So,
awesome,
and it worked.
I think that's so huge that you guys, took the step to purchase all the products in the swag bag. That's not something that very many people do. And I think it's very, I guess, timely or not. The word is escaping me, but just the fact that you guys were able to be, I guess, sensitive to the situation and understand that, and then to take it on your own shoulders to do that for an event. But then, not to really take the hit yourself, but, to actually just build it in and be smart about the way that you did it. I think it's tremendous.
Yeah,
So,
we just time it. It's all about timing, right? So we put out the registration well enough in advance that we could get an idea of the participants. So then we could turn around and place the orders and not be completely upside down, to your point, right? It was funny. I think we had like a little, the over and under going on internally, what our registration was going to be. I mean, there were people guessing like 1,000 and, and high and low. And had we placed orders based on some of those numbers, I mean, we would have lost a fortune. But you just got to think it through and like, okay, let's do the registration. Let's get a really good idea of the participants, because in the window when you put out a registration, it comes in waves. Mm-hmm. And we had a good idea, and then we ordered accordingly, so we didn't end up upside down. It's all in the planning.
So Dana,
go ahead, Steven.
No, I just you're kind of looking big picture here. I know one of the gaps between a virtual event and a physical event, I think that we're trying to tie together right now. I go to went to a lot of live events, right? I think we all did. And the thing that we enjoyed most about it is that interaction, right? Is the ability to connect, to be able to do whatever the activity is together as a group. And, I think that's where you guys have hit. And I think that would be an awesome place to chat about is how do you transition that digital or independent activity into a group activity, right? Like how do you get the interaction between all of those people? Is it strictly through social? Do you involve some video? Is there an element of small groups doing the larger event together, to still have that community feel? Or what, if you can speak to some of that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, the one thing by far that happened this year or during the pandemic, I guess it's last year now, but a lot more people got on camera than ever got on camera before, right? Because you had to have the human face. So we kind of pushed a lot of people at American out of their comfort zone. Our founder, Larry, was on camera a lot. Our president, Justin, was filming stuff so that our sales associates they were hearing him, they were seeing him when they used to only see him at our national conference or at another event. So we forced a lot of people in our community to be on camera. So that was number one. If you can't be together physically, you gotta be on camera, whether it's recorded or live, either one. The other thing we did too was we really made our vendors get on camera a lot more than we have in the past. Normally in the past, we kind of let our vendors get to our sales associates kind of however path and tell me, and there's a million different paths of how they make that connection. But we really took a conscious effort. I mean, to this day, we still have what's called Tuesday Talks, and it's a direct answer to the pandemic that we know our sales associates are not meeting or talking to our vendors, most likely because they're not bumping into them at a regional trade show, they're not bumping into them at a regional social, they're not bumping into them at PPI, they're not bumping into them at an ASI event, and on and on and on, all these places they used to have collision points. So we're forcing the collision points more now than ever, and we just force our vendors on camera. So we have this series of video that is a direct answer to the pandemic, where we interview, Taylor actually interviews one of our Patriot partners every Tuesday to learn more about their business. Or even the fun thing, I think we get a lot of vendors that jump on there and they start giving the vendor spiel. And Taylor's like, she knows why we're doing it. She reels them back in. She goes, no. Do you have any kids? What kind of pet do you have? Like, what are your favorite foods? Because if you really think about it, the real connection between individuals is the understanding or the knowledge of each other, the common likes. And so we try to tone down the business. Yeah, we want you to tell your business prop. We don't exist without a business prop. I get it. But I also just want to know you're another human being like me, and you like ice and you like chocolate chip ice cream. That's all. Like, that we got to bring it down. So we've tried to really perpetuate a human essence to the communications that we're having, where before you might have just, someone would have jumped on, went over their line, said why they're, how great their company is, and you would have been done. We try to steer it towards human. So that's an answer. The other thing is we try to do our best whenever we have an event, when appropriate, we always try to bundle it with a virtual social on the back end. And the trick, and I think it actually came, Taylor's involved in Spark. And I think the moral of this story is, why you be involved? Because you learn little things all over the place that work, because you can't know it all. And so Taylor went to a Spark event that used Zoom and found out they did breakout rooms, right? Where they take the big group, because you get 100, 250. Yeah, you get 200 people on a Zoom, and they're all A personalities. They all want to talk over each other. So she learned how to break it out. So any event we have, on the back end of the event, we flip it to a Zoom social. Do we lose some? Probably. Do some just come to the social? Probably. But we do the social, and then we go in the breakout room. You want to try to always bring that down to a sizable group. We found that in all of our Zoom socials after an event, putting about 5 people in a room really for about 10 minutes. And then how the system knocks them out and they come back into the main room, and then you tell them what they're going to, what to maybe talk about. That is a great tip. If you're going to do Zoom meetings socially with a bunch of people, use the breakout rooms. And Taylor brought it to me after she did the Spark one. So kudos to PPI who thought of it, but it really works, because now you're talking to 5 people get to talk to each other rather than 100.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about that Wonder.me platform that Promo Kitchen used for the mixer during Expo. I don't know if you were there or if you'd heard about it, but it's called Wonder.me, I believe, was the platform. But it's really cool. It's a really neat way of doing different breakouts or breaking things down into smaller groups as well. So if you haven't, maybe look into that. But I want to go back to the point that you were making, that what Taylor's doing with the Patriot meetings. I think that's so key, because I think that's the thing that's missing. Like, the part for us and for myself and for a lot of other suppliers in the industry is what makes the trade show experience so great or magical is the stuff that happens off the trade show floor. It's not the business side of things. It's not. It's about the conversations that you're having, the beers that you're pounding, or whatever. So there's so much of that aspect that is missed in what we're doing on a digital platform. So I think that's huge, and that's really what I would love to see us be able to figure out how to do more of with the situation that we're dealing with. And I know we could go on for, another hour at least and talk about this stuff, but I think we probably should get relatively close to wrapping up here. Do you guys have any other follow-up questions in regards to the events?
Yeah, I just have one. What's on the horizon event-wise for you, Dana? Do you guys have any ideas in the works, or any other things that you've seen out there that would be good recommendations for folks?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hopin, I think, is the platform that a couple of people, I think ASI just played around with it, and Common SKU used it. I mean, we all, everyone's kind of watching what everybody else is using. Heard it was a great platform. It really just depends on the event style you want to deliver. If you really want to deliver a true trade show experience, then, obviously Sage has kind of figured something out. And so has Promo Corner. They figured out, with the promo show, we've actually used the promo show as an ASB show, and it worked out really well. But it's a trade show, and you're kind of you going into them virtual booths is weird. The chat pops up. You wonder how automated the chat. I mean, I go in those rooms and I go, "Is it really you?" Like the VP will say hello, and I go, "Is it really you?" It's kind of weird. So, and then the video parts of them don't always work, and it's challenging. But just look at the platforms and think about the experience you want to deliver. we use different platforms for very different things. One thing we experimented with was, everybody knows the EME, right? Give Eric true credit for kind of being the trailblazer for the suite meeting. That is still, I think, to this day, one of the most powerful types of events. And you've seen everybody try to knock it off. And distributors even knock it off. Our summit is a knockoff of it, which is one of our top producers events. We actually successfully duplicated that in a virtual setting. We used Calendly as the setting, got the vendors' profiles set up, helped them. And then the nice thing was, though, the vendor got to choose their kind of video chat platform of preference, whether it was GoToMeeting, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or whatever. They just put it in the link of their meeting when they sent when the meeting was picked. So it really was comfortable for the vendors. A little challenging on the front side, setting up the profile. They don't always want to put their profile pictures up and the fun things that we want to see, but you crack the whip enough, they get it done. But they got to operate, though, and function with, in case they were sharing slides or in case they were sharing the camera in a place they were probably dealing with every day. So the meetings were flawless because the vendors were comfortable, and our people can kind of adapt if they can get their camera on, right? And so that worked really well. And so that was a meeting, a virtual event where we didn't even have to actually use a platform. The only actual platform or software we used was Calendly, and mainly so we could keep track of all the appointments being set. So just really think about what time experience you're trying to deliver, and make sure the event that your platform or whatever technology delivers or accents that type of event that you want to put forward.
Yep, I agree.
No,
Any
yeah.
other questions, Meg, Stephen?
Last thing I want to say is I think, Dana, you really hit the nail on the head when it does come to getting you guys to, first off, it's like a vendor's dream, like you guys demanding that we get an appointment. So yay, I wonder who your rep is. Man, she must be lucky.
I wonder who that is.
What that is. But no, it makes our life easier. A, B, you're trying to set that relationship up. We all know this is a relationship industry. You buy from who you trust, you buy from who you like, because you can buy a t-shirt anywhere, you can buy a pen anywhere. It's really about that relationship. And what social media has done for us is humanized us. We kind of tried to get other people to step outside their comfort zones and not be order takers. And I love that you guys are doing that with your vendors, because if they're not on social and they're not comfortable, they're not going to, and it's too hard for them to step outside their box. So I love that you guys are doing that. Keep doing that. I think that's some kick-ass stuff. And I'm going to now force my customers to tell me about their favorite ice cream.
Yeah, just to kind of, I know you guys want to wrap it up, but to go back on that meeting thing we created, and I've heard some others did it. So kudos to other distributors who did it also. I mean, I'm sure for the most part, we all kind of think alike. We're not anyone major geniuses. That thing ended up yielding 1,200 vendor appointments. Wow. Is that in 2 weeks? Is that absolutely amazing? I mean, as also the VP of vendor relations, that's one that just, you sit back and you go, okay, pandemic or no, I'm getting two parties, the most important parties on the planet, which is the distributor salesperson and our vendor partners communicating.
Yep.
I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because that's why I exist.
You know what else gives me goosebumps, Jeff?
Well, that's a great segue, but I was going to go
rapid fire
swag bag side of things. Look, if you're putting events together, one thing that's really great, especially right now, whether you're getting snowed on and you get the glare from the sun, or whether you're out at the beach partying, doesn't really matter. Sunglasses is what you guys need. All right. Listen, TechWeld has got some incredible sunglasses. They're actually a winner of the Distributor's Choice Award for sunglasses. They won in 2019. And look, got a great category of sunglasses there. Many SKUs that are FDA compliant. They both offer UVA and UVB protection. The other thing that they've got going for them is their kitting program, huge right now. And again, you could probably use something like this for your swag offerings for your virtual events as well. But they've got this whole Come Kit Around With Us program. They've got different stock packaging for their kits as well. They've got an EVA bag, a PVC tent pouch, a PVC tube, an organza bag, a pillow pouch, BTL 202. It's a 30-ounce tumbler. And then they've also got a retro lunchbox that they're awesome, by the way. The kids love them. But not many players in the industry are really focusing on kits, which really allows them to expand upon their their market share in that area. So go check them out at techweld.com. You will not be sorry that you did. Do you guys want to do a rapid
PPE,
fire?
Wait, it's PPE for your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Look, that stuff can enter through your eyes, your nose, whatever. That's a good point. It's a face shield for your eyes.
Ooh.
You guys want to do a quick rapid fire, or do we want to wrap it up?
We can do rapid fire real quick. Danny, you want to do a rapid fire?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're all gonna do a question, and we all ask. I don't even know. I'm not gonna go first this time, but
Oh my gosh.
I kind of have a few questions for. Well, at least I've got a question for everybody, and then one question just for Dana. But my question for everybody, since Dana, you can see in the background there is a big hunter and fisher. If you could only do one, hunting or fishing?
Ooh, hunting.
really, yeah, I'd have to say that for you. Yeah. Because I know you have that big fish tattoo, right?
Yes, I do have a big one right here.
All right, Meg.
Isn't fishing hunting for fish?
There you go.
It would have to be fishing. I don't know. I've never hunt anything before, so except for people's necks.
Steven?
So, fishing.
Fish. I don't hunt.
Yeah,
I don't really
I
fish
would
either.
say fishing. Well, I think I enjoy like the benefits of hunting more, I think.
More
But
table fare.
yeah,
More for the freezer.
yeah, and I mean, I love,
Eating? Is that an option?
yeah, I love some venison
I just eat.
and any of that stuff. But yeah, I enjoy fishing, so I would probably say that.
All right. All right.
Scott, what, Meg?
Favorite social media platform?
Is that a thing?
Facebook by far.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't really do social too much at all. So but I would, if I had to pick one, it's probably either Facebook or Instagram.
Meg, yours?
I mean, I think Facebook is probably the long-term goal, but I just found TikTok and I think it's fun.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty great.
Just gonna put that out there at Meg.
All right. At Meg. Oh, geez. In the spirit of event talk, favorite live concert or live event you've ever been to?
Oh, I would say for me it was Lincoln Park because I was front row. Chester was sweating on me. R.I.P.
Mine is I won front row seats to John Mayer,
Oh, cool.
and I never understood how amazing of a musician he was until you're, like you said, until you're 5-6 feet away from him and watch his show. That was probably one of the highlights. And it's funny because I won the tickets off social media.
Oh,
That
that's
was even better.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question. When he sang "Your Body Is a Wonderland," did he lock eyes with you?
Was he singing to you?
I think he's looking at my wife, actually. I'm not sure.
Well, he's like,
All right, Meg, answer the question. Come
She
on.
might have
I
thrown
have-
something on. She might have thrown something on the stage. I'm not sure.
All right, so I have two. I have a favorite concert that I never ended up going into, which was like a WXTU. You have to win tickets to go to. You tailgate all day. I think by the time the concert started, we were all just too drunk to make it in. I think it was so hot that I and several of us, because I was not the leader in this instant, but we jumped into the water. And if you've ever been, no. Hey, there's sharks. I know there's sharks there. Well, that will never happen again. It's the Delaware Bay. Nobody just jumps in the Delaware Bay, okay? So we did that. But I would say the best concert I went to was probably last 2 years ago now. I don't know. Me, Tony, our significant others, we went to see a country concert, and it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. Yeah, Tom Clauser says Garth Brooks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Garth Brooks did fly out to our boat and do a
Oh.
concert when we were in the Navy. That was pretty cool.
Garth Brooks is legit.
Yeah.
Mine's probably, I saw Roger Waters' The Wall tour when they redid The Wall concert experience, which was pretty sweet. That or saw Mumford and Sons a couple years ago, and that was
Oh, that's cool.
really good.
That's very
Very
cool.
cool.
All
So
right,
Monster Trucks doesn't make the cut.
Man,
It's a live event.
if it's your favorite,
I mean, if that was really your favorite.
Harlem Globetrotters.
Actually, if I could just walk an outdoor sportsman show right now, I'd be in heaven. That's what I'm missing. Simple things.
I'm
There you
sure.
go. So what's
All
your
right,
My rapid fire is, all right, this is fun. When this kind of defines your personality, ribeye or filet?
filet?
Play.
Ribeye has a lot of fat. What was the other one? But a fillet is kind of small, right? They're like the smaller ones.
You can just eat more of them.
More than one. Yeah.
All right, then I'll take fillet.
Okay.
I can't have fat. I can't. If it touches my mouth, it's.
I
Oh
know.
yeah, she's gonna do that sound again.
I like marbling when it actually cooks into the meat and flavors it. I understand why people like the ribeye, but I think for me personally, the ribeye just has a little bit too much, and it normally doesn't all cook out. And I can't do fat in my mouth.
All right.
Stop it, Meg.
I just did it again. What about you, Danny? You're a ribeye guy, right?
I am. I go either way though. I mean, it's really like, to me, a ribeye is more, I want to work for my food. Like I want to like work through the steak. You know, to me, it's like almost like a more casual, like I would probably have a flannel shirt on, right? Whereas the filet to me is, it's a classier, it's cleaner, it's easier to eat, it's easier to cut. Like, so if I was in a setting where I had to wear a sport coat, I probably would wear a filet. So I kind of go with my casual tie, my dress code with my steaks.
I ate tacos in bed last night, so we're just gonna end this podcast at that. I worked so late,
work
and
from
then
home thing on steroids.
All right, so I know I've asked this question before, and I just have to ask this to Dana. Nobody else has to answer, but Dana, since we talked before the show about you think there's going to be a mad rush for travel as soon as things sort of not necessarily open back up, because technically it's open back up now, but where's the first flight you're booking for personal?
I have a 10-day Iceland trip called the Ring of the
Oh my
Island.
God, I hate. I want to go to
And,
Iceland so bad. That is on
me
my list.
too. Mine
It's
too.
it's very affordable to get
It
there.
is.
It's not so much once you're there, but I'm doing the whole thing where you rent a car and you in 10 days you work your way around the island. It's kind of a different Airbnb every night, maybe a night in the car. I don't know, but that's what's on the books. That's be my first go.
Are you gonna do the Blue Lagoon?
Yeah.
I've done the Blue Lagoon before. I probably will because
been there
we're guiding kind of a friend couple, and it's kind of hard to not go there and do it. So probably do it. If it was just my wife and I going again, we probably would skip it because we did it before. But it's fun to watch the experience of someone else who's never done it.
I'm sure. I want to go.
can't wait to do that.
If you're a germaphobe, I'm not sure the Blue Lagoon's for you, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, the shower room is very European. So if you can Google Blue Lagoon, and you'll learn all about. Like,
Don't Google European
Europeans
shower
don't
room.
mind being naked in front of hundreds of people, and Americans don't. So it's just an awkward experience. But there's a lot of people, a lot of feet, you know. So if you're a germaphobe, Blue Lagoon's not for you.
All right, fair enough. Well, this has been your latest episode of the Industry Insider. Dana, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been great. A lot of good information. I know we could continue to go on for another hour and talk, social events and how to bring that into the digital world. So I do appreciate you coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I miss you guys.
Miss you too.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Can't wait to do an in-person thing again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, take care. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.